So, you want to convert old family memories onto VHS or any other tape format into a digital format. How can you do it? With the ClonerAlliance Box Pro. That'll be coming up right now. Hey everybody, and Practically Noah here. In today's video, we're going to talk about how you can convert old VHS footage of family memories or any other tape format to a digital format, which can be stored on a USB thumb drive or external hard drive or SSD drive. Now, before we begin with how to do it, let's talk about some requirements, and also we're going to start off with a backstory of how I got into this. So, of course, growing up, I was always lended some secondhand electronics from my grandparents, mostly in particular the VHS players, or VCRs as they were commonly called. But VHS tapes were stored in analog data. The problem is, analog is different from our modern digital technology, because the difference between them is analog is basically electrical pulses that are streams of data, while digital is ones and zeros that are constant. Like, there's no issues regarding it. Nowadays, everything, of course, is still digital. And I know what you're thinking. Sure, I could digitize tapes to DVD, right? True, but how many people still own a DVD player or a VCR? That's the problem. With modern streaming services and USB playback in modern households and other industrial areas, these things are being forgotten, and we have to preserve what's on those tapes. But what advice, when we do this, do not digitize any commercial tapes. That is piracy, that is illegal. So with that out of the way, let's begin with some requirements. So there are a couple of things that you need to equip before doing this process. So what you'll need is a VCR. I highly recommend getting a VCR that was made in the early 2000s because that's more relevant, rather than refurbishing a 80s or 90s. I highly also recommend getting the one with stereo sound because that's more modern in our technology. You'll need your VHS tapes that you want to digitize. We'll just use this demo tape. Any USB formatted drive, rather be a thumb drive, an SSD drive, or mechanical hard drive. But most importantly, you need to purchase the ClonerAlliance Box Pro. You don't have to be this quirky to do this kind of setup. This is how I do it. I usually use a external SSD with a USB extension because this takes USB-A. All right, now we got all the equipment out of the way. Let's talk about some other tips. What you really want when you purchase your VCR from a thrift store or eBay, get one with at least 4 heads. Now, a head is like what reads the tape. Think of it as like DVDs and Blu-rays with lasers. What I'm using currently is a VHS DVD combo player by Samsung. Of course, I'm using the ClonerAlliance Box Pro, and I have this quirky AV setup with an HDMI switch and an AV switch that can do composite and component, and one VGA. Now, you see how the TV is like this? It's not the fault of the TV, it's the actual settings you can do with the ClonerAlliance. It comes with a remote, which is somewhat required for certain features, because you're only limited by 3 buttons on the actual recorder itself. So the reason why it's in a square shape is because it's in 4:3 full screen mode, because VHS players were intended to be used and accompanied with CRT televisions. Another thing you want to do if you want to do professional, you don't want to upscale as much as possible. You want it as close to the original data as possible. But for consumers, they want to just see in a better image quality that is compatible with modern HD or 4K TVs. Anyway, back to the 4:3. You can change it to 16:9, but what it does is stretches the image, and that will be not intended for VHSs. So that's why I do 4:3. When you do digitize or start recording, you will get the black bars that are intended for the full screen later on. So you can crop that out in your editing software, but when you play it back, it's like a wide screen, but they include these black bars. So with that information out of the way, Let's digitize this promotional tape from Food Saver, a vacuum sealing. So I'll insert it into the VHS player. I already have my USB thumb drive set up with the ClonerAlliance. So here's the footage of the tape. Let it track, and I will start recording with the remote. We'll do at least 30 seconds. And that's been over 30 seconds, so I'm gonna stop recording now. So since we recorded, let's see what it looks like.
Underneath the lid, you'll find a handy roll storage compartment for your Food Saver rolls.
Well, that does it for this special video. I hope you enjoyed it and are looking forward to other videos from my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.